Hi there and welcome to this video lesson. In my now 22 years of playing guitar and 20 years of teaching, I have found that I've always made the most progress when I focused on rhythm. My best and most successful guitar students also had a great sense of rhythm and would always practice with a metronome and count along to what they played, while my worst guitar students either had no sense of rhythm at all, or would never practice and play with a metronome, or would never count along to what they played, or all of the above. Music is a combination of harmony, melody, and rhythm. The irony is that rhythm works on its own, while harmony and melody do not. Most non-musicians and beginner guitar players focus mainly on melody or mimicking other guitar players and kinda neglect rhythm when they start playing guitar, even when they're learning simple open chord based songs with simple scratch rhythms. So here are a couple of exercises for you to better understand and get better at playing rhythm. This is the first part of a 3-part video series on rhythm, and I guarantee you that after you've watched all of these videos and focus on mastering every exercise, you will not only never have problems with playing rhythm guitar, but you'll also be able to play along with any recording, a full band, a drummer, and even be able to improvise your own rhythms on the spot. Parts 2 and 3 are linked in the first pinned comment and at the end of this video. I will start from the very beginning here with the simplest exercises, because I know from experience that sometimes even guitarists who have been playing for several years but on their own might struggle with playing along with a simple beat, keeping time. The very first thing you'll have to do here is getting a metronome. A metronome is a device used for marking time, and depending on your attitude towards it, either your best friend or your worst enemy along your musical journey. I highly recommend the Metronome Beats App. It's available for both Android and Apple phones, and even the free version comes with a lot of cool features. Among the very first exercises I teach my beginner guitar students are simple open chord strumming exercises over a 4/4 rhythm. 4/4 is the go-to meter for most of our modern music, and for now more than enough for you to get a feel for rhythm and better understand what you're playing. In 4/4, all you have to do is count along with every beat of the metronome to 4, and you will have counted 1 bar or 1 measure. Simply set your metronome to 60 BPM, that's 60 beats per minute. Change the 1 beat so that it looks and sounds different from the other 3 beats, and count along. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 60 BPM is a great tempo to start learning with because it's the exact same tempo as our seconds, and we're all pretty much used to counting seconds from our early childhood onwards. Make sure to count along precisely with the metronome, and maybe this will sound superfluous to you or even too easy to even bother trying, but trust me, I have taught more than one guitar student who couldn't even do this, and this was exactly the reason why they struggled with playing guitar in the first place. Once you're able to do that, now count and clap along with the metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can now experiment a little and set your metronome to faster tempos or even slower tempos. Note that playing and counting along with slower tempos is even harder than playing and counting along with faster tempos, since the time between each beat increases, and especially beginners tend to become a little impatient at first and then almost always automatically play and count a little too fast. I would now recommend playing this simple strumming exercise first together with me here in the video and later on your own, using different tempos. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please only use one chord at the beginning. Once you're able to play along with several tempos, you might add a second and a third chord and so on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Now let's move a little ahead and learn how to count eighth notes. When you count and later play eighth notes, you'll have to play exactly twice as many notes as before, and your eighth notes have to be exactly in the middle between your quarter notes. First, let's do this with some help of our metronome, and here's how you set the Metronome Beats app to eighth notes. Tap on clicks/beat and select 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now when we strum a simple eighth note pattern, we use alternate strumming. Our quarter notes become down strums, while our eighth notes are played using up strums. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Once you've played with a couple of different tempos, you should now go back to counting along and clapping along with the metronome, but over quarter notes only, to see if you can count your eighth notes by yourself. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then also do your strumming exercises like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now if you want to add more chords, please make sure to always lift your fingers at the final eighth note of your beat, the 4 end, because even if you're already able to fret new chords with every finger at the same time, playing your chord changes like this will sound and feel better. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Or a more difficult to play chord change, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Before you'll get to the final exercise of this video, playing 16th notes, please stay with this exercise and increase the tempo until you're able to play it with 120 beats per minute. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Finally, let's now try counting and playing 16th notes. 16th notes are counted like this: 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1. And please learn to count them like this and always count them like this, because it will later help you to better understand and play 16th note rhythms, even if they only have a couple of 16th notes in them. We will get to this in the next video, and then you will understand why it's crucial to count your 16th notes like this. And trust me, a lot of my students who have ignored counting 16th notes like this and always tried winging it when it came to playing these rhythms have failed to play and understand these rhythms. First, we'll set our metronome to 16th notes. Simply tap on clicks per beat again and then select 4 this time. First, let's count along and then count and clap along again. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1. For the first couple of weeks, please don't increase the tempo here and focus more on becoming able to play quarter, eighth and 16th notes over 60 beats per minute without playing either too fast or too slow. Now when we play our 16th notes, we'll also use constant alternate strumming. That means we'll use down strums for our quarter and eighth notes and up strums for our 16th notes, because it's 1, E, and A, 2, E, and A, and so on and so forth. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1. Once you're ready to use more than one chord, remember that you now have to lift your fingers on the final 16th note of every bar. So that's the 4A. 4 E and A, 1. 4 E and A, 1. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1. Your final step here should then be becoming able to play your 16th notes without the help from the metronome. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1. Your first big goal should be becoming able to play quarter, 8th and 16th notes over 60 beats per minute without playing either too slow or too fast. Playing 16th notes might take a while because 16th notes are pretty fast for beginners. Please don't rush through these exercises and be very patient, even when they don't seem to work at first. Patience is the key to master any new concept, and especially in this case, patience will enable you to play focused and calm so that you'll never play ahead of the beat. That means too fast. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done this. Leave a comment if you have any more questions, and make sure to also watch parts 2 and 3 of this video. See you next time.